I need you guys to suspend the hate for whichever creator that you currently are upset with long enough for us to watch this video. This is Some Ordinary Gamers, which is Mutahar, who talks about different malware and shit like that. He also talks about video games and other shit too. But this is a video about the feds just bought malware to hack your phone silently. And this is what we're talking about, right? So we're going to let him explain it because he knows more about this subject than I do. Maybe, hopefully, he can also get into, you know, why this shit happened to happen in the same place that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I don't know. Maybe he'll talk about it. All right, here we go.
Hello, guys and gals. Me, Mutahar, and no laughing, no perky start to the video. I just want to kind of get into the real grim reality. I want to rip the Band-Aid off real quick. Now, if you want the ADHD, like you want the quick TLDR YouTube Shorts version, please run lockdown mode on your iPhone. Go into the settings, enable that, probably have it running, get used to it. Or if you're on Android, go to Advanced Protection, just look for it in the settings, enable it. Or go into my previous videos, install Graphene OS if you have a compatible Android smartphone, right? Or maybe get a burner phone and apply all the protections you can. Because the reason why we're talking about this today is the government of the United States has just restarted a $2 million contract.
Just so you know, this is actually a different company that's hacking your phones. I knew it, Manny. I knew somebody was going to be upset. Literally, I don't know everything, so therefore I cannot speak to every fucking thing that happens. I need other people, and if I brought these fucking people actually on the show, you guys would fucking crucify me. So we gotta watch the video. It's the way it is.
With a company called Paragon Solutions that apparently claims they can hack any cell phone out in the world, okay? So this is a pretty spooky thing, and the reason why it's spooky is it almost feels kind of like, you know, bypassing the whole warrant bullshit, you know, that all these agencies have to respond with. Now, I've talked a lot about like the
whoa, we don't talk about our Canadian brethren like that, Manny. We're gonna have to probably ask for these our Canadian friends to take us in. Manny, you may have a problem with them, but we need to prioritize here, bud. We need to start really licking those boots of the Canadians. We need to start getting some really high class maple syrup together, some good hockey. Is this racist? Can you be racist against Canadians? If I'm being racist right now against you, I am really sorry. Okay, I apologize profusely. And anything Manny says, I do not support.
Agencies, and then
do you guys remember when fucking MAGA was like super worried about the government getting into your shit? What happened to that? Where did that go?
Using computer malware to spy on users, right? You know, the FBI has basically made it an art form. And of course, at times, a lot of these three-letter agencies, like the FBI, will sometimes break the law.
Also, I'm pretty sure that's an A's hat he's wearing, Manny, so I'm going to give him a pass on any shilling he's ever done in his life. If he's an A's fan, I'm going to let it go.
By distributing CP on the dark web just so they can build a honeypot. Sometimes they absolutely commit the crime in order to arrest people down the road. Now, whatever your view is on this, I don't really give a shit. What I give a shit about is, again, people's right to privacy and safety. Now, I don't think criminals should be getting access to your phones, and I don't think government should be getting access to your phones.
I agree with that
at all. Unless they go to a fucking court, they get a goddamn warrant, and they come to you, all right? It's crazy. As a Canadian, I look at the unlawful search and seizure clause more seriously than I think some of the actual people living in one of the best countries in the world, okay? At least
I appreciate that you say that, but we're losing our luster, and I think a big part of that is you just made a serious mistake there, Mr. Mutahar, and you said the words read. Reading not real big in the country currently, and also hasn't been for a really long time, to be honest with you. I would establish that most likely that is probably why we are in the position that we are right now.
In my opinion, when I look at the United States, I think back in 1776, they were cooking with the Constitution. They were cooking with the framework of one of the best countries in the world. Now, to give you an idea of what Paragon Solutions is, I went to their website, and their website is literally this bare bones, okay? Empowering ethical cyber defense, disrupting intractable threats with innovation. So they got this cute little lighthouse. You go down.
That is the most word salad fucking thing I ever heard. Disrupting intractable threats with innovation. That's like some new age bullshit generator website language. What the fuck?
They're like, oh, Paragon Solutions US provides our customers with ethically based tools, teams, and insights to disrupt intractable threats. We provide cyber and forensic capabilities. So one thing on their site that they're not telling you is that Paragon Solutions is in fact a Israeli-founded spyware company. Now, Israel has such a interesting history when it comes to cybersecurity and how much they get contracted out to break into your personal cell phones, okay? It's crazy shit. Back in, I believe, 2015, when it came to the San Bernardino shooting, one of the most interesting cases came from Apple versus the FBI. So
is he about to explain the one where they couldn't get into the phone and Apple refused to let them? Is that the case?
Apple, being the creator of the iPhone, right? The FBI actually asked Apple if they could design a sort of special operating system that could bypass and basically grab encrypted data off of a smartphone. Apple at the time said, we don't really have the ability to look into somebody's encrypted phone. And when they were asked by the FBI, basically soft forced, Apple was like, no, we're going to take this shit to court because we don't want to be breaking into people's phones. They considered it at the time on.
Oh, God, it was a different time. God, it was a different time, guys. We need to go back. we need to make America great again. Fuck. We've come full circle.
Lawful and unconstitutional. And it would argue that if the FBI was given such a crazy operating system to break the encryption on a phone, it would undermine the security of every device and set a dangerous precedent for future cases. Now, regardless of what your thoughts are on Apple or whatever, I definitely can say Apple has a history for fighting for its user base, especially when it comes to privacy and their security. And that is pretty fucking commendable. For a long time, I actually did like using an iPhone because out of the box, I felt that the privacy was sufficient on it. Now, this whole saga didn't end because Apple didn't comply. What the FBI did was they went to this Israeli company called Celebrite, who basically bills itself as like...
You don't say. You don't say.
You know, a cybersecurity company that, you know, gives tools to access, you know, devices, to, you know, help law enforcement agencies get their evidence really quickly, okay?
Guys, I kind of feel like Israel and USA we're like in a mommy daddy situation right now. Like, it's like if dad says no, you can try to go to mom, but she's probably going to say no also, and then dad's going to break into your phone. I don't know how I got there, but I just got there.
Ultimately, they are breaking into your phone to grab information. Now, one of the reasons why it makes this situation so freaky is that Paragon is a company that it's almost
go get your mail, Manny.
Get information out of them. But of course, according to some of these actual, like, you know, articles,
neon death.
Basically, they drew all the attention because they claimed that it gave police the power to remotely break into all the encrypted messaging applications. So things like WhatsApp, things like Signal, things like Facebook Messenger or Gmail. I'm pretty sure it.
Isn't that the whole point of having those? It claims to give the police power to remotely break into encrypted instant messaging communications like WhatsApp, Signal, Facebook Messenger, or Gmail. Isn't the whole point of having WhatsApp or Signal to make it so people can't break into your shit? Why the fuck do we even have Signal or WhatsApp then? Oh, we are so cooked.
WhatsApp, things like Signal, things like Facebook Messenger or Gmail. I'm pretty sure if you're in Europe or, you know, you're outside America, you probably have WhatsApp installed on your phone. I know I use Signal to communicate with a lot of my friends. And the fact that this company says they can hack into it is a little bit more complicated. They're not actually hacking these applications, from my understanding, directly. they're actually running malware that is zero-click. So again, what's really freaky about this, and this comes from the Monk School, the University of Toronto, God bless, introducing, the Paragon software, for instance. In their investigation, they found that Paragon was involved with possibly working with the Canadian Ontario Provincial Police. So great to see law enforcement officers just bypassing the whole warrant thing and working directly with computer viruses just to breach into our personal messaging, right? Just to get into our personal communication. It used to be that you had to go and get a fucking court order to get a wiretap on somebody. Now they can just infect you with malware. Crazy shit. So of course, the other situation that also came out to it is when it came to individuals in Italy. It came out that there was indications that spyware was loaded onto WhatsApp, as well as other applications on devices. And in some cases, the people that they were targeting were individuals.
Wait, the apps we're downloading to avoid the shit is giving us the shit? I just think maybe I'm going to be a Luddite. I think maybe... Well, I don't really even use my phone. What am I talking about? This is for you guys.
Individuals that were journalists, people that, really, really need things like the dark web and Signal in order to communicate, sensitive shit to people. It's crazy. So, and according to one of their cases, they looked at an Apple device that belonged to a prominent European journalist who requested that they wanted to be anonymous over here. Obviously, because if you're being targeted like this...
good luck being anonymous when they can just hack your phone and see the shit that you say. But okay, I mean, you can ask for it, though.
You probably just want to be completely off the radar at this point. But they provided their device, donated it graciously in order for this forensic team to investigate the stuff. So what they showed over here was they identified an iMessage account present in the device logs at the same time that the phone was communicating with an identified server from Paragon, 46.183.184.91, which is the IP address. So based on their analysis, they concluded that this was used to deploy their graphite spyware. So the way that this malware works is it's something we call a zero-click. Now, the way a zero-click malware works is you don't have to actually interact with the message in order to have the malware run. So for instance, when you get a phishing email or when you get something crazy like a PDF file that somebody wants you to run and install, what's usually happening is
YouTube has ruined me. Now when I hear PDF file, I immediately think Epstein's client list. I think he means actually just a PDF file.
The email, you click on the PDF file, and you basically then launch whatever program, or you start parsing that information, and attached to that PDF file is a payload. Now, I've shown you how to do this with Discord malware. Imagine if somebody sends you a game to install and play around with, but that game contains a remote access Trojan. Somebody then has access to your computer. They can look through your webcams. They can keylog you.
Ooh, they don't want to look through my webcams.
They can grab information and send it back. So sensitive information like passwords, credit cards, just anything sensitive that you can imagine. Or basically pilfer through your files and grab things that may be too personal for you, right? There's a lot of bad things that can happen if you just run shady stuff on the internet, which is, again, a place where I constantly say have common sense. But a zero-click malware is, as the name implies. Basically, when you get sent an email, or in this case, a message to your iPhone, in the background, without you even opening a text message, the iPhone will process information. So in this case, in this specific attack, what would happen was the iPhone would be parsing images in the background. Now, because the image contained malware, then what would happen is it would launch the malware, it would go through all of the fucking payloads, and next thing you know, somebody's iPhone gets hacked. So
okay, wait a minute. So it's like if somebody sends you a message, even if you don't open it, while your phone's sitting there, your phone's getting the malware.
Your device is hacked, it doesn't matter what applications you use. Because when they hack your phone, they can keylog you, they can do whatever it is they want, and then get that data out and then do whatever nefarious thing they want to do with it. That's how a zero-click works, and it's similar to how it would work on Android devices.
Dude. Okay, so if these people can do it, I mean, how long until, other people can do this shit? Just hackers. I mean, if government hackers can do this shit, eventually regular hackers are going to do this shit. I think maybe I just need to get off the internet completely.
So, if you want to protect yourself right now, remember, this is malware, but it's not spooky black magic. It's a computer virus that they're launching against you. use things like lockdown mode. Apple, because of this situation, implemented a mode on their iPhone where you could lock down the system to a point where a lot of these
Fuck, I use Android.
a lot of these like vectors that these fucking companies would use to attack you get automatically disabled, right? And it's important for journalists, it's important for like government leaders. It should just be important for anybody that doesn't want to be fucking spied on. Because when ICE buys this malware, I can imagine what they're probably going to use it for, which is to identify and infiltrate chat networks for people that they want to go after. Now, you might be like, but Muda, aren't you protecting criminals or bad people by doing this? I don't give a fuck what this justification is. I don't think...
Yeah, because we just saw the justification in the article, right? They justify it by saying, oh, we're going after immigrants. Just like with the Patriot Act, it was, oh, we're going after terrorists. Like, every one of these things in some way is justified, just like the deporting of immigrants right now through ICE. Oh, we're deporting the bad ones. Like... At what point has the government actually just stuck to doing what they said that they were doing for the justification of whatever they are doing? Riddle me that, fucking Batman. It seems like the majority of the time, more people get caught up that weren't supposed to be caught up than the people that were actually supposed to be caught up.
Should throw the baby out with the bathwater. When I see illegal surveillance, in my opinion, on people done with malware launched against people's devices to read their messages, I don't give a fuck what the government wants to or doesn't want to do. To me, that sounds like Nazi fucking Germany. That sounds like the Gestapo. That sounds like the secret police using
it's high-tech Nazi, actually. High-tech Nazi Germany.
powers to basically spy on users. No, I think the government can absolutely go against criminal entities with the budget that they are given, and it doesn't have to involve in taking away the freedoms and liberties that people are slowly taking for granted, okay? That's just my honest to God...
Yeah, what was that quote? That quote's like, a man will give away any freedoms as long as he's given the necessary justification to give them away. Like, it's something like that, where it's like, if you can just find the reason that people are fearful, then you can convince them to give up pretty much any freedom. And that's literally what we're living with right now. I mean, and then you've got, weirdos like fucking Peter Thiel and Mark Andreessen and Zuckerberg and Bezos. And every one of these people want to be in control of your life. Not like the conspiracy theorists, completely control everything. Just to fucking be able to make sure you don't get certain things or you don't get to benefit in certain places. Like, if they can get into your phone, if the government can get into your phone, it's eventually going to make its way to these tech oligarchs and these freedom cities.
Take on that. And if you disagree with me there, then, there's a fucking big red X button at the top right of this window. You can click that and go do your own thing. It is that simple. I'm sorry if I sound overly passionate about this.
I like
it's just
it.
something
that
I feel is disgusting and it needs to be called out. And it's one of those things where, I don't see many people talking about it because I guess it's too technical. I guess many people don't understand. But this is the government buying malware that they are most likely going to be using against the civilian population at en masse. Without fucking warrants, it seems. It's crazy. And again, legally speaking, organizations like the EFF brought up something that was a little bit mind-blowing to me. The U.S. was originally buying this, in the last administration, but they didn't because there was actually an executive order passed that prevented this kind of stuff from happening. So Executive Order 14093, which is prohibiting the use of the U.S. government for commercial spyware that poses risks to national security.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I didn't think about that. So if they're using it to get into your phone, there's a potential that it gets into our national security shit. What are we doing? And that was an executive order from Biden saying not to do it. Did Biden? Good job, Biden. Solid job, Biden.
So this is a executive order, and I don't know if it's an active executive order. I'm sure a lawyer watching or LawTube can probably
not anymore.
I think an EO does it. I think maybe an executive order has a time or statute to operate under. But the idea is basically this was prevented because a commercial spyware may pose counterintelligence or security risks to the U.S. government when a foreign government, in this case Israel, or a foreign person has used or acquired
This is what happened!
spyware to gain access.
Bro, did Donald Trump give the entire government malware and now Israel is in charge of America? Is that what happened? Does Israel have like all of our shit now? Because Donald Trump was like, we're gonna use the Paragon software. It's gonna go into everybody else's stuff, not Pete Hegseth, because he'll give it to everybody else. Did he fuck up? Is that what's going on?
The U.S. government computers, right? And yada, yada, yada. You can read the whole executive order summary for yourself, but this wasn't a silver bullet, but it was probably the strongest protection people had.
It's gone
against
now,
a foreign country.
He's going to say it's gone now.
A country like Israel,
He's
who
gonna
has
say
no
it's
right
gone
to be
now.
selling software that can be used against another country's citizens. It's just fucking insane that this is the world we're in. I made videos where I taught you guys how to use PGP not even a few weeks ago. During the Battlefield 6 betas, like while we were playing it, I made a video about using PGP, Cleopatra, to make your own keys and start exchanging messages in PGP. And it's not a perfect solution, but given the fact that now the government is buying malware to hack your phones, start using shit like PGP. Start using lockdown mode. Start using advanced data protections. Now, obviously, look, I am not going to jump into the argument of
this is what I was talking about.
Stuff. Again, I don't really jump into the political side of stuff that
This
much.
is what I was talking about.
You can watch other content creators for it, but I'm just looking at this from a security privacy perspective. Obviously, with agencies like ICE, and really any U.S. federal agency, but specifically, the reason why I'm worried that a warrant isn't going to be used, or it's going to be, basically like a piece of toilet paper for them, is if you look at just what they've been doing right now, they've been using, again, special technologies like the Stingray, where they've basically been using invasive surveillance devices.
Yep.
Pretty much, as much as they want to. As much as they
used it back in 2017.
Really, and of course, the more you go down into it, they're also purchasing vast amounts of data from again, data brokers, which is its own discussion that I've had. And while I guess this technically wouldn't be illegal, it just shows you that, again, the goal of agencies is to create this dragnet of surveillance where, again, they will use every means possible to constantly spy on individuals. If you think for a minute this malware won't be sent to a group that, an organization like ICE that would consider, like, ICE would send this to, like, groups that they would consider to be, illegals or criminals in their eyes. I mean, it is a broad terminology that I'm assuming that these organizations...
I'm going to go further. Like, they're going to do a lot more than that. They're going to go a lot more. We watched this part, or we talked about this already, so... if you want to watch the rest of the video, check out Mudahar's video on, what is it called? The Feds Just Bought Malware to Hack Your Phone Silently. Mudahar is Some Ordinary Gamers. You can go watch that and check it out. But that was literally what we were just talking about. That is that ICE has the ability to now track people's phones. They can get the Stingray stuff that then allows them to track a person to an individual rather than just to an area. It's, we're getting to a point now where pointing out the hypocrisy of MAGA is just becoming exhausting. These people 6 months ago, 8 months ago, were just complaining about how Biden or Obama or Clinton or the dirty Democrats and their rings of children under pizza basements were going to track you down and use your information and steal your stuff and take control of you. And as seems always the case, once again, it wasn't actually the Democrats, it was the people that they voted for. And it's just like, it's getting to a point where it's insane to even talk about these things over and over and over again, because I feel like a fucking scratch CD up here. It's not broken record anymore, guys. We've moved on from that. It's scratch CD now is what we say. My generation. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and check out that video on the screen now.